What's up, y'all? Sparta here. I want to redo my G7 after 2 months video because it had audio issues for whatever reason. I don't know what happened. I think there's something stuck in one of the mics of my V20. I really have no clue, but sorry about that. So, yeah, let me redo this video. So, since I go entirely unscripted, I'm not gonna say everything in order, or legit, probably not everything that I said, but I will indeed recap most of what I still feel about this phone. And it pretty much stands identically if you were able to hear properly what I said, but as I'm going to say, let me get into this. So, LG G7, what still holds up? What has not been so great and stuff like that. Um, as far as like the overall phone goes, the overall phone holds up really well still. Performance is still very good. Snapdragon 845, even with the 4 gigabytes of RAM, still makes this a good phone to use. There are a couple things that need like working with like software updates and stuff like that. Like sometimes there's app retracing, but it's not like to the point of like the LG G4 to where I'm like, okay, this really needs to get done. This really needs to get retooled. But other than that, it only really happens, say, if I go into an article from my Google feed or whatever. I go back. Okay, it doesn't want to do it there, but it does indeed do it like sometimes. So it's not something that I indeed say is like a deal breaker for me personally, but it is indeed something that happens. And if you don't like that, it doesn't like take forever to retrace your apps and widgets. It like takes like a second and it pops back. It's not really retracing. It's probably just remembering again what's there. Let me try and see if I could get it to do it. Again, it's still not doing it, but other than that, there really isn't anything about performance that has like dropped. It's still a very fast phone. It still is smooth. I get constant high frame rates. Maybe not a constant 60 frames per second, but it at least stays up there. And sometimes it doesn't. It indeed dip from 60 frames per second at times. What else? Battery life. Battery life is probably the one sticking point that will indeed like drop over time due to its small battery pack, which is something I hope with the V40 they do indeed improve on. If it's not like a 4,000 milliamp hour battery, at least put like a 3,500 to 3,600. But LG typically tends to follow Samsung when it comes to like what they do with their batteries. And I think they put a 3,000 milliamp battery in here because of the simple fact that the S9, the small S9, has a 3,000 milliamp hour battery, and this is their smaller phone of the year. So it would only really make sense that this is competing with the base S9 and not the S9 Plus or the Note 9. But other than that, I do get pretty good battery life performance. I do get like 4.5 hours of screen on time at least. And if you do want more, you can indeed lower the resolution of the display just like you can on like the Samsung phones pretty much ever since the dark times of the Samsung Galaxy Note 7. um what else? I know I keep saying that every time I end a segment. Cameras. The cameras on here are still really good. Nothing has really like made me say that I hate these cameras at all. Low light performance on these cameras are really nice. There's nothing that I can necessarily say is terrible about these cameras. I'll put a link down below for my Instagram. If you guys want to follow me there, sure, you can go ahead and do that. And I've indeed posted a lot of photos when it comes to like the G7 and what it can do. and I will indeed post more when I get more phones for comparison and stuff like that. Unlocking procedures, how secure it can indeed be, how good is it at like recognizing your voice for voice unlock. I will indeed talk about that now. Face unlock doesn't work as well as it does on the V30. The V30 is like mad quick with it. It's mad quick. It like when I put it to my face, it pops up and it unlocks instantly. For this, I have to like tool it to make it so it goes instantly, but it doesn't do it as fast on here, which is totally fine because you still have like voice unlock, high G7, and it works pretty much 100% of the time unless there's something loud going on. The fingerprint sensor is still there if you need that, and that's still pretty fast. You still have knock code if you like that. It didn't work because the AOD decided to come on as soon as I did that, but that still works. It has a delay because I have like multiple taps in the same area, so just keep that in mind. Next, the overall feel of the phone is still very nice. This is a very rigid phone. It, despite it being made of glass and stuff and like metal, it still feels very like sturdy. It doesn't feel like you could bend the phone, even though I'm not literally gonna do it. And I haven't had a case on this. I never had a case on this since I bought it. So there are indeed scratches on the horror screen protector. There are indeed scratches on the display, and there's like scuffs and everything. And I did indeed drop it on tile at work. And as you guys can see, there's that scuff right there. But other than that, that's pretty much the extent of what happened with when it comes to like it being, damaged. There's no cracked glass, no nothing. The camera lens glass is still intact compared to my V30, and nothing has happened to make me say that this phone isn't sturdy and is not durable. The mil standard A10G drop test compliance is a very nice thing to have for any glass clad phone. And I believe every single manufacturer, every single phone maker should have that at the very least. Um, audio performance. Audio performance is what LG has pretty much been come to, I don't know how to say this, has become renowned for since the V10, right? Like V10, they started doing hi-fi DAC. V20, they did the hi-fi quad DAC, and everybody loves the quad DAC. V30, same thing. G7, it's even better. And the V40, I'm pretty sure it'll get even better from there. So, there's really nothing I can say about that I haven't said in any of my previous videos. It still holds up. It makes any like kind of headphones you get sound better. Like even if they're like $10 cheapo headphones that you get from like a gas station or something, they will sound. You will hear distortion, but it's not gonna be terrible. It makes them serviceable. Like I got $30 earbuds, and I do indeed hear distortion, but it's still listenable because there's not really much you can do with. You can't improve frequency response on earphones if they have a certain amount of frequency response. So that's not really anything that I can say that the G7 will like make it sound leaps and bounds better. It won't make it sound like Sennheiser IE800s or anything like that. Not like that by far, but they do indeed sound great. The boombox speaker is still a marquee feature that I tout a lot, and it's something that I do indeed want with the V40 because it makes it. When I had the iPhone 8 and my girlfriend wanted it back, so I just switched. We switched phones back. I got my Note 8 back. It made the stereo speakers on that sound muffled. That's how insane That's how insane the boombox speaker is on the G7. It's like probably gonna win one of the most innovative features of the year for me personally. Aside from what Oppo is doing with their like slide up camera and stuff like that, there's a lot of things that are very cool about phones these days. They're being creative, and LG is indeed doing some creative stuff that people don't necessarily want to say, but it's whatever. Um, display. The display on this phone is great. Like a lot of people are like, "Oh, ew, LCD," but I will indeed say this: this is the brightest display I've ever had on a phone. There's really nothing that beats it. No OLED panel beats it. No like iPhone LCD panel beats it. It's very sharp. It's very vibrant. It gets super bright when you need it to get bright, and it's just a great panel overall. Um, Other than that, that's pretty much it. Like the notch, again, the notch isn't something that I care about. Like when the iPhone first did it, I was like, ew, yeah, whatever. It's terrible. But honestly, it complements the phone, in my personal opinion. If you don't like it, you could, hide it. It's not gonna work as well as it will on an OLED panel, which is what the V40 will indeed have. So I don't necessarily mind the V40 having a notch, unless it's a super early render and they don't have a notch on there, but we don't know yet. But let me know what you guys think of the G7 in the comment section below. This is Sparta. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks for the support. Hope you guys have a wonderful Friday or whatever time of day it is in the area. Have a good one. If you like this video, like it. If you dislike it, dislike it. Show people that are interested in the sort of video. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, hit that notification bell icon to know when I upload my next video. Thanks for 533 subscribers. Um, I'm sorry. I have a bit of a headache right now, but yeah, this is, again, have a good one, you guys.